this verse and he said, "Yo, L, is that a mic on your arm?
Let me borrow that.
Let me borrow that."
L, is that a mic on your arm? Let me borrow that.
Yeah, and
You didn't take that. You didn't take it as a compliment.
not at that time. I was an ego.
Is that a mic on your arm? Let me borrow that. And I just I just did not understand.
It's August 1997, the calm before one of the most unexpected rap beef storms ever. The legendary LL Cool J and hungry up-and-comer Canibus were actually cool. At first, believe it or not. No sneak, Deeces, no behind-the-scenes drama, just mutual respect. These two were even, working on the same track together. Yeah, LL Cool J was putting Canibus and DMX, who were both bubbling in the underground, on his upcoming joint 421.
I love you, boy. You know what I mean? Yo, your career's starting again, baby.
Yeah, you crushed his career. Let's make some noise for LL crushing his career.
That's right. Alongside rap giants like Redman, Method Man, and Master P, that song was about to be major. So how did it all go sideways? Picture this. They're vibing in the studio. Energy's flowing. Bars are being passed back and forth. And that's when Canibus makes what seemed like a harmless comment. He tells LL that he digs the microphone tattoo on his arm. Not just that. He says he wants to get one himself. Sounds innocent, right? Just one MC showing love to another. Well, not for LL. That compliment hit different. LL took it like Canibus was trying to copy his style, like he was low-key trying to step in his lane. And from that very moment, something shifted because Double L, he's not just any rapper. He's a brand, a whole movement, and the idea of some new cat trying to walk around with. The same mic inked. Nah, LL wasn't having that. But LL, he wasn't feeling it at all. That whole mic tattoo, admiration, it rubbed him the wrong way.
Game. I mean, I had done other records prior to 4321, but I was somebody who was coming in the game who was really looking for somebody to be under their wing and rock with.
LL didn't want anyone else walking around with ink that looked like his. It wasn't just a tattoo. It was his symbol, his brand, his signature. Then Canibus made the fatal move. He dropped a line on the song that mentioned LL's. Mic tattoo. To Canibus, it was all love, just paying tribute to the legend, showing respect to someone he grew up admiring. He thought he was honoring LL, but Double L, he didn't hear it like that. Not one bit. He locked in on one bar in particular where Canibus said something about borrowing the mic off LL's arm. That's the line that lit the fuse.
For the mic, when I saw it, I was like, damn, you know, when you see the mic and you know what it represents, you know that for anybody to put a mic on their arm, when that's saying that damn, this is my life, or this is something that I do very well, something that I did very well and I'm doing very well, or, you know.
LL saw it as a shot, a slick attempt at taking his place. And just like that, it was drama. When it came time to finalize the 4-3-2-1 verses, LL gave Canibus an ultimatum. Change your verse or you're off the track. No discussion. LL wasn't letting that line slide. And Canibus, still fresh in the game, he didn't want to mess up a huge opportunity. So he agreed to rewrite his verse and take out anything LL thought was disrespectful. But Canibus had one condition. LL had to change his verse, too, because by then, LL had already laced his bars with some not-so-subtle jabs.
A tattoo, man, like your tattoo, I'm gonna get one like that. I said, nah, homie, you know, you gotta get your own, you know. I didn't understand that, like, mentally, like, I just didn't understand. Nah, man, you get your own joint, like, I didn't really, I just didn't understand it, like, it was no disrespect.
Canibus thought it was all squared away. LL told him straight up, change your verse, and I'll change mine, too. Sounded fair, right? But when the song finally dropped, boom. LL didn't change a single bar. Every slick line he spit, every veiled jab still there. Meanwhile, Canibus had already edited his verse, watered it down, played by the rules, and now he looked soft, like a rookie getting punked on his own big moment. The streets noticed too. People were siding Canibus, like, wait, why'd you let LL son you like that and not say a word? This wasn't just a rap collab gone wrong. This was a setup. Canibus felt betrayed. It was like someone asking Kendrick Lamar, to take his name, dropping off control after the song. Already dropped. Total sucker move. The whole narrative now. Canibus got dissed and didn't clap back. To make it worse, LL didn't even invite him to the video shoot for 4321. Yep, everybody else showed up. Redman, Meth, Master P. But Canibus ghosted. At this point, Canibus realized he'd been played twice. But instead of running to the booth and dropping a disc, he decided to pick up the phone. He actually tried to talk it out with LL like a man, hoping they could clear the air. LL kept claiming nobody even knew my verse was about Canibus. But come on, by then the streets were already buzzing.
After we had that conversation, when I went in and heard his bars, he said, "Is that a mic on your arm? Let me borrow that." And I just I just did not understand. I couldn't understand it, homie. I blinked.
Okay,
I blinked.
The original Canibus verse had leaked, and fans were putting two and two together real quick. The timeline didn't lie, and neither did the bars. People saw the setup for what it was. Respect is everything in hip-hop, especially when you're a new face in the game. For Canibus, his name was hanging by a thread. He looked like the kid who got played in front of the whole school twice. So to save face, both LL and Canibus supposedly agreed to squash the talk and hop on another track together. A unity move, something to shut down the beef narrative. But weeks turned into months, and the song, it never came. And Canibus, he wasn't quick to trust LL's word again. Fool him once, shame on LL. Fool him twice. Nah, that wasn't going to happen. He had already waited over 2 months, hoping LL would make good on their word. But LL kept him hanging. And every day that passed, it looked worse. Canibus wasn't just silent. He was looking like he got punked again.
Mic off your arm?
No. Asked to borrow it. He was doing it at flatter.
Yeah, this is the debate right here. LL is a cultural icon. You don't come out your face and no, you don't borrow nothing. You lucky to.
So finally Canibus had enough. On March 24th, 1998, he came back swinging. That's when he dropped the infamous diss track, Second Round KO. And let's be real, that track wasn't just a response. It was a full-blown assault. You might got more cash than me, but you ain't got the skills to eat. A Nick's ass like me. That was the line that shook the whole rap world. When Second Round KO dropped, Canibus wasn't just clapping back. He was swinging for the crown. And to top it off, he brought in Mike Tyson to talk that intro trash. That was unheard of at the time. Tyson, hyping him up like he's a warrior, made it feel like Canibus was stepping into a real ring. The production was hard. The delivery ruthless.
See what was in my heart. If anything, that should have seemed like something that was probably flattering.
Nobody ain't took it like that, but I guess, you know what I'm saying? Cause I don't think Canibus was going. I mean, come on, I knew Canibus. I mean, even before he was getting on, Canibus used to just come spit with the squad all the time, you know what I mean? So he had that attitude of trying to get on.
Canibus wasn't just trying to respond. He wanted to embarrass LL on every level. He dissected him bar by bar, exposed what he saw as ego, fake loyalty, and washed up bravado. This wasn't a friendly spar. This was a straight KO attempt. Hip-hop heads went crazy. The underground was rallying behind Canibus. Folks started saying things like, "Yo, he bodied LL." Some even crowned him as a new lyrical threat in the game. But LL Cool J, he wasn't just going to stay quiet. You knew something was brewing. A legend like LL wasn't going to take that type of disrespect and just let it ride.
Ready, niggas got copies of the original record and they running around playing it, you know what I'm saying? And it just looks so up, man. And like in my position, like where I'm at right now, I don't have anything, man. All I got is a reputation on the street. That's all I got, man. I don't have a family. I don't have, that's all I have. That's what I'm saying to you. That's all I.
The tension was sky high. People were waiting to see what was LL going to do next. Would he respond with bars? Would he destroy Canibus with another slick, calculated verse? Or had Canibus finally forced the GOAT into a corner? If anyone still doubted whether Canibus had real bars, this track shut all that noise down. Second Round KO was straight up lyrical fire. In 1998, this battle felt like David versus Goliath in real time. Canibus hadn't even dropped his debut album yet. And here he was swinging on one of the biggest names in hip-hop history, LL Cool J. But guess what? He lit LL up with that disc. No hesitation, no fear, just pure hunger and lyrical precision. And it wasn't just the bars that hit hard. You know, the track exposed the whole behind-scenes mess.
What you're saying, what can I do to make you feel more comfortable? What can we do to like make you feel better about the situation? I just need people to know that you didn't mean it like that, man. That you wasn't coming at me. What's the biggest way to do that, man? Like you everywhere, man. You're everywhere. What's the biggest way to do it? No, because see, what you don't realize is sometimes you can open up a can of worms thinking you're closing a can.
Canibus let the world know LL change his verse after hearing Canibus's original lines. And he doubled down on the fact that LL promised to switch out the Deeses, but flat out lied. That Mike the Two line still stinging in 1998. What made this even more iconic was the way Canibus previewed that heat. He gave fans a sneak peek of the venom during a freestyle cypher with DMX Big Pun and Mos Def, Legendary Company. And even in that circle, Canibus stood out. And let's be real, if Second Round KO hadn't hit the way it did, LL probably would have brushed it off. But this one, it got under his skin deep.
Running around the country knowing about the situation. You got 50 in New York that are in the industry running around running their and they the same niggas that hate Mace's chain and can't stand Puffy Suburban set and fuck. Hell, you called me earlier, right? Yeah. Okay. Do you know what I was doing? I was on the internet, okay? Yo, the internet is nationwide, you know what I mean? From LA to Maine, you know what I mean? From Canada to Miami. Now, I'm telling you that.
So what happened next? LL had to clap back. He couldn't stay quiet. The pressure was too real. The streets were watching. The fans were loud. And then on April 28th, 1998, LL Cool J finally fired back with the Ripper Strikes Back. The Ripper Strikes Back wasn't just a response. It was LL Cool J pulling up with years of battle rap experience and unloading on Canibus like a veteran schooling the rookie. LL came out swinging, reminding the world exactly why he was called the Go-A. From a very first bar, LL made it clear he wasn't playing nice. He clowned Canibus for needing Mike Tyson to back him up, wrapped circles around him, and threw in lines that hit way below the belt. LL even went after Canibus's crew, managers, and anybody who tried to hype him up. He said things like, "You the type to get slapped with a mic. You wrote the wrong rhyme. Can't even battle without a cosign." LL wasn't just defending his name. He was burying anything Canibus stood on. And here's what made it extra cold. LL sounded confident, calm, like he was handling a minor annoyance rather than a real threat.
I'm telling you that in Texas, in North Dakota, dog, you get what you want to do. You want to add fuel to the fire. You want to you want to address it. I mean, what do you want me to say? I don't want to address the situation. I don't want to do what niggas is out there feeling. Yo, Canibus needs. I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to do. What I want to do is I want some
interview 12:25/12:56. This wasn't a desperate comeback. It was a seasoned vet flexing on a newcomer, showing he could still dominate the game anytime he felt like it. The fans divided. Some said LB bodied it, that he took back control of the narrative. Others said Canibus still had the edge with Second Round KO because it came with more hunger, more rawness. But one thing was clear. This beef had turned into a lyrical chess match. And now both rappers have blood on their bars. No more Menor vibes. No more studio handshakes.
I don't want to play niggas and nothing like that. I'm definitely not trying to play.
Do your thing, yo.
I'm not trying to. Yo, I deserve the right to anchor, yo. You know what I mean? He came first. I deserve the right to anchor, yo.
Okay.
For anyone still doubting whether LL Cool J still had that fire, The Ripper Strikes Back was his answer. He proved he could still lace up the gloves and go bar for bar with a hungry new lion. That diss track did exactly what it was supposed to do: silence the whispers, defend the throne, and remind the culture that LL was still a problem. But for Canibus, this moment was career-changing. Before this, most people didn't even know his name. Now, he was the guy who made LL Cool J step back into the booth. That alone gave him stripes in the rap game.
That anger bad, huh? You got him over here, man.
You got it right here, dog.
Bless me the house.
I sampled that.
So, Canibus went full throttle with the momentum. He promoted Second Round KO like a man on a mission. Interviews, radio freestyles, street buzz. He wanted everyone to remember the name Canibus. And that buzz led perfectly into the release of his debut album, Can I Bus?, which dropped in September 1998. The project was loaded with subtle and not so subtle shots at LL. Little lyrical darts hidden in verses just in case LL thought it was over. But after that, things cooled down a bit.
I know the truth. You don't want me to shine. You studied my rhyme, then you laid your vocals after mine. That's smooth. Something a homosexual rapper would do. So when you say that you platinum, you only dropping clues. I studied your background, read the book that you wrote, researched your footnotes about how you've never...
1999 came and went with no major shots fired. Fans thought maybe the beef had finally died down until 2000. LL was back on promo mode, pushing his new album G. And while stopping by MTV's Rhapsody, he dropped a freestyle that sparked it all back up. LL couldn't resist slipping in some lines aimed right back at Canibus. Just when people thought it was over, he kept the fire simmering. Let's be real, Canibus never fully recovered from the LL Cool J smoke. While LL kept rising, dropping hits, and locking down Hollywood, Canibus's career stalled. The industry quietly turned its back on him. The narrative was clear. LL was a bigger name, the chart topper, the moneymaker.
Be bigger than that. Sometimes you gotta take it to the next level.
Talked about around the world.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta flip the script. Let's ride. Can I bust? Make some noise! Can I be here, L? Here, bystander here. I just have this life. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on, Canibus, come and get some. I'm sing it alive. Watch me.
And in a game where power talks, the industry rode with a guy bringing in the millions. Canibus, he got blackballed. Labels didn't push him the same. Radio cooled off. Features dried up. That lyrical beast we saw on Second Round KO, he just never reached that same level again. And LL, he knew exactly what happened. On his track, Back Where I Belong, LL threw more shots and basically took credit for crushing Canibus's career. He set it straight. He ended him cold. Fast forward to 2003. Canibus drops Rip the Jacker, one of his most critically respected projects. And even then on the track Showtime at the Gallo, he brings up LL one last time. He finally acknowledged the toll that beef took on his rise. It was like a final chapter, his last public reflection on the war that changed everything. And just like that, beef was done. Silent until December 19th, 2014. LL Cool J was rocking the stage at Hot 97's Christmas concert. And out of nowhere, he brings Canibus on stage. The crowd was stunned. Decades of tension, sneak disses, and broken trust squashed in real time. That moment at Hot 97 in 2014, it was historic. LL Cool J and Canibus standing side by side on the same stage after 17 years of one of the most personal and brutal beefs in hip-hop. The crowd went crazy. Fans couldn't believe it. Two rappers who once fired lyrical nukes at each other were now shaking hands and sharing a mic like nothing ever happened. LL gave Canibus his flowers in front of everybody, acknowledging his pen and the impact he had, even if the industry never let him fully bloom. And Canibus, he stood there, owning the moment like a man who had survived the fire. No bitterness, just respect. It was bigger than rap. It was a full circle moment. For years, this beef was seen as a cautionary tale. The hungry newcomer who dared to challenge the legend. The veteran who played it smart and kept the industry on his side. The silence, the bars, the blackballing, the betrayal. But now it was closure. Hip-hop fans had grown up watching this beef unfold.
Yo, L, is that a mic on your arm? Let me borrow that. Let me borrow that.
Redman, where the squad at? L, is that mic on your arm? Let me borrow that.
You didn't take it as a compliment? Not at that time. I was an egomaniac. Canibus, he ran into me when my ego was a little. I should have just said, nah. You know, he was like, because I saw him outside the studio. Right. Said, yo, oh man, I'm gonna get a tattoo just like yours. And I was like, you gotta get your own. But that's how it was. Right. I felt like somebody was trying to wear my boxing trunks or something. It was like, oh, you gonna walk in the locker room and the dude got your cleats on.
Look at the side of respect. You're like, hold on, bro, stop biting my style. Get your own.
I was immature. I was immature. I wasn't involved. Savage, man. Savagery, man. Animal, man. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. I mean, you know, he just ran into a maniac. You know, he ran into a guy that's so intense that he could start hip hop at eight years old and be in his 50s still doing it.
The symbol on my arm is off limits to challenges. You holding rusty swords, I swing.
And seeing them squash it in person showed that even the nastiest rivalries can heal. Even in an industry built on ego, respect can still win. After that performance, Canibus didn't skyrocket back into the spotlight, but he gained back something more valuable. Honor and LL, he showed the world that even legends can put pride aside. This wasn't just an end to a beef. This was the mature chapter the culture didn't know it needed. Two warriors once at odds, now united, if only for a night. Even after that iconic moment at Hot 97, the L Cool J versus Canibus saga still lived on in hip-hop conversations. Fans kept debating it. Who really won? Was it the veteran who held his throne and survived the storm, or the underdog who stood up to a rap giant and made him respond? No matter what side you're on, one thing's for sure, this beef changed careers. It showed how fast the industry can flip on you when you go against the system, even if you've got the bars to back it up. Canibus was never lacking in talent. That man could spit fire, but talent alone couldn't save him from politics. Meanwhile, LL played the game like a chess master. Timing, positioning, power moves. He had the industry, the fans, and the history books on his side. Still, Canibus earned something deeper. Respect from the streets. Interview 20:40/21:05. The way he came at LL in second round KO. That's still one of the most vicious diss tracks ever recorded. People still quote it. It made him a legend in his own right, even if the industry didn't give him his full flowers. And LL, he came out untouched. Still charting, still acting, still collecting awards. But make no mistake, Canibus pushed him to respond when most rappers couldn't. That alone tells you something. This beef wasn't just bars. It was betrayal, legacy, pride, and survival. It became a blueprint for every new rapper trying to test a legend. And just when you thought it was all love, LL hit Canibus with one last jab on stage. As Canibus walked off, LL leaned into the mic and said, "Yeah, your career is starting again." Smiling. Slick, petty, absolutely. Then to add, more fuel. And he went on Drink Champs and turned up the disrespect, telling the crowd to give a round of applause to LL for crushing his rap career. Like this was a comedy show, not a decade-long. Beef with real consequences. The truth, Canibus didn't lose a rap battle. He lost the popularity war. LL had the fame, the power, the machine. And when egos collide in this game, only one usually makes it out clean. LL's ego was legendary, so was his pen. And when they clashed with Canibus's raw talent and hunger, the outcome was painful to watch. Not because Canibus didn't have the skills, but because in this industry, bars ain't always enough. But yo, let's not rewrite history. Canibus stood tall when most wouldn't even speak. Up, and he reminded everyone why he's one of the coldest to ever touch a mic. So, stop sleeping on LL's diss tracks. Dude's pen is lethal. And now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was LL too petty? Did Canibus deserve better? Who really won this beef? Hit that like, share, and subscribe, and keep it locked to see what's going down in our hood next. This story's straight legendary, and we're just getting started.